Well, everyone, it's time for us to go and take a look at the iPhone 12 and compare it against the iPhone 11 Pro and see which particular iPhone is the better one for you. Now, I will definitely tell you in almost every single way I can imagine, both these phones are still pretty good. The newest one is usually going to be probably the better one for the most part, but I still think something like an iPhone 11 Pro is still good. I think something like an iPhone 12 is still very good as well. So we'll take a look at these phones throughout this whole entire video. First things first though, if you do want to go ahead and pick up either one of these phones though for the most part, links will be down in the description below. You can get them from there and you can help support the channel at the exact same time. Now, starting off with the outside of both these particular devices. The iPhone 11 Pro, which came out back in 2019, on the front side of this phone is going to be giving you a pretty decent 5.8-inch Super Retina XDR OLED display. Now, this type of panel for the most part, I think looks pretty good for the most part. There's not really like an insane amount of things to complain about here, and I do think if you are going to go through and pick up a phone, this type of panel for the most part still looks pretty good for the most part. This type of panel is good, it's sharp, it's not the best looking panel of all time, but there's definitely some things inside of this device that might irk you the wrong way. For starters, in my personal opinion, I think this phone is great, but it's only 60 Hz, so that could be kind of an annoyance that you might run into here. But I would say beyond that, this is still a really decent looking device. You're still getting the notch up top, you're still getting Face ID, and I still think this is one of those types of devices that you could pick up and still have like a pretty good time with it for sure. On the other hand, with something like the iPhone 12, this one is a little bit different. So within this device, the main difference here is that you're basically going to go through and pick up a device that's going to be giving you a 6.1-inch display here. So this one's going to be a little bit different, which is going to be a little bit of a better advantage, I would say, for the most part. Like if you're going to go through and pick up this device, you're going to have to remember that this one's giving you a bigger size display. So that was always something that I actually did like a lot about my phones, that, I think 6.1 inches is like the perfect size for me. So if you're somebody who wants to go through and get that type of phone, well, you're going to be able to get that type of capability here for the most part. But they both kind of lack in the same way. They're both basically missing out on like high refresh rate panels. They're both 60 Hz panels, which could be good, could be bad depending on which way you're kind of looking at it. But also depending on which way you look at it too, like both these phones don't have like the brightest panels of all time either. So that could be a little bit of an annoyance, but I would still say for the most part, if you're going to go through and pick up either one of these phones, both these devices are probably going to give you a pretty good experience when it comes down to it from that side. Now, they're both giving you lightning ports at the bottom too, which is always nice to have. They're both giving you, the 12 is giving you flat sides, where the iPhone 11 Pro is giving you curved sides. So that could be another interesting thing to kind of keep in mind there as well. Also, they're both giving you glass backs, but the iPhone 11 Pro is giving you this frosted glass back, which is actually very nice. The iPhone 12 is giving you this standard glass back. So that right there could end up being a pretty big difference in and of itself. Like if you're wanting the phone that's going to be giving you a little bit of better capability here, you might look at something like the iPhone 12 as probably being the better one here in some ways. Because of that, standard glass back, that could be kind of an advantage. It's not an advantage, but the iPhone 12, its main advantage is the MagSafe capability. So you could go through and use those MagSafe accessories and all those things. So you do have that type of capability there, which always is really, really nice. With something like the iPhone 11 Pro, this one is giving you that frosted glass back, and now it's going to be giving you, I think a better feeling phone when it comes down to it. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. When it comes down to the price tags, the iPhone 11 Pro is going to be a little bit, maybe cheaper in the used market than the iPhone 12, but it could be neck and neck. They could be, the iPhone 12 could be a little bit, cheaper. The iPhone 11 Pro could be a little bit cheaper. Just depends on the condition and like when and how you buy the phone. But I would say they're going to be roughly around the same price. Like it's not really going to be like a super, super big difference when it comes down to it. When it comes down to the cameras though, this is going to be something that's also very interesting. So the iPhone 11 Pro is basically giving you this triple camera setup on the backside. It's a wide, ultra-wide, and telephoto lens. With the iPhone 12 is giving you this dual camera setup. So it's giving you a wide and ultra-wide camera there. So that is in and of itself really nice to have. Like I love being able to go through and pick up a phone that's going to be giving me that type of capability. So that is one of those big things to keep in mind there, right? Because if you're going to go through and pick up a phone, well, like I said before, it's really nice to be able to go buy a phone on the iPhone 11 Pro that is going to be giving you that additional camera setup. But I would say for the most part, if you are going to go through and pick up a phone, like I said, you can't really go wrong with either one, but I do think the iPhone 12 in some ways could end up being a better phone in some, situations. Number one, with the iPhone 12, it's giving you Dolby Vision up to 4K at 30. The iPhone 11 Pro didn't really have that, but I still feel like a phone like the iPhone 11 Pro, it's still giving you like a really good experience for its camera. So it kind of goes back and forth. It really just depends on which way you want to look at it. But I think both these devices have done a pretty decent job. And when it comes down to the camera, that's kind of how I see these two devices holding up from that side. On top of that, when it comes down to software longevity, the iPhone 11 Pro and the iPhone 12, if you're going to, pick one, the iPhone 12 is probably going to be the one that's going to be the longer lasting one here for the most part. So if you're wanting the device that is going to be the longer lasting one, like if you're wanting the one that's going to be giving you longer software support, longer longevity, things like that, then definitely an iPhone 12 is probably going to be the one that's going to make the most amount of sense for me to recommend to people. But at the same time, I think an iPhone 11 Pro is also still like a pretty good supported phone. Like it's still supported as of this point. I don't know how much longer that phone's going to be supported, maybe another year, maybe not another year, but that one still has a very high likelihood of lasting for quite some time. So I would still say that the iPhone 11 Pro still has quite a bit of, power inside of it, but the iPhone 12 is probably going to be the one that's going to end up lasting longer. On top of that, when it comes down to some other areas of these devices, the iPhone 12 is also going to be one that's going to be giving you 17 hours of video playback, where the iPhone 11 Pro is giving you 18 hours of video playback. So that right there could be another one of those things to keep in mind. If you're wanting the phone that's going to be giving you a longer lifespan in terms of battery, well, you could look at something like an iPhone 11 Pro and think that that might be giving you a little bit of a longer lifespan, but it's still going to be probably neck and neck, and it's not really going to be like the biggest difference of all time either, at least as far as I can tell. So from that side, that covers it up there. And then finally with the performance, the iPhone 11 Pro is going to be giving you the Apple A13 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigs of RAM, where the iPhone 12 is giving you the Apple A14 Bionic chip inside of it with 4 gigabytes of RAM as well. So this is going to be another one of those really interesting things to kind of keep in mind here. Because if you're wanting the phone that's going to be giving you better capability, from what I can tell, it does make a lot of sense to go and look at something like an iPhone 12, not 14, the iPhone 12. This one is theoretically going to be the one that will probably end up being the better one in a majority of ways. And this one is going to be a faster one. This is going to be a very, very good one for the most part. If you're going to go through and pick up a phone, that one is a very good, very fast performing device. And that is something that I actually like a lot about these types of phones, is that they hold up that well. With that being said though, I think the iPhone 11 Pro still does a pretty good job at the performance. And that's the thing, I feel like the iPhone 12 is a better phone in most ways, but the iPhone 11 Pro still holds up and still feels like such an amazing phone, because it is an amazing phone, right? It's a really good device. It looks really good. It looks like a very, very premium device still. It is, still giving you a frosted glass back, the triple camera setup. It still feels like a really good device, but I still look at something like an iPhone, 12. I still look at something like an iPhone 10 as still being pretty premium, but definitely when it comes down to these two, the iPhone 12 is probably the one I'd recommend a majority of people to go and buy, but I still think the iPhone 11 Pro is still a very decent device, and if the iPhone 11 Pro ends up getting iOS 19, then I would probably recommend people to buy that phone for the most part. So from that side, that kind of covers it up there. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that will mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.